All right, let's get into a story that starts on a simple, crowded bus ride, but believe it or not, ends up in front of the Supreme Court. And it forces us to ask a really big question about justice. What does it actually take to prove someone is guilty?
So, our story kicks off in the wee hours of the morning in a big, bustling city. It's a scene that probably feels pretty familiar to a lot of us.
I want you to picture this. It's 1:30 in the morning. A guy named Kim Mugot is trying to get on a bus at the SM Mall of Asia. It's just chaos, that typical mad dash to get home after a long day. So, in all the pushing and shoving to get on, Mugot gets pinned against the bus door for a second. It's over in a flash. But then, a moment later, he pats his pocket, and that sinking feeling hits. His phone, a Samsung Galaxy A7 worth about 25,000 pesos, is just gone. Now, what happens next seems to unfold incredibly fast. I mean, on the surface, this looks like a pretty straightforward case of theft, the kind you think would be wrapped up in no time. Just look at how quickly all the pieces seem to fall into place here. The victim spots the guy he thinks is the suspect, they confront him, and bam, they find the stolen phone right there. Before you know it, it leads to a conviction in court. It really looks like a textbook arrest, doesn't it? I mean, come on, the phone is found on these guys just minutes after it went missing. The case against them feels rock solid, but, and this is a big but, as we're about to find out, what seems obvious isn't always what can be proven in a court of law. You see, the lower court's conviction was built almost entirely on a really powerful legal idea. It's sort of a shortcut to proving guilt, and it's been a part of law for a very, very long time. And that is the key here. This is why the court felt they didn't need an eyewitness or security camera video of the actual theft. They used this legal presumption as the bedrock for the guilty verdict. They had the suspects, they had the phone. To them, it was case closed. Or so they thought. And this brings us to the real heart of the issue, right? Every single person is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So can a legal assumption, on its own, be enough to take away someone's freedom? This is where the whole story takes a very dramatic turn. So the case makes its way all the way up to the Supreme Court. And when the justices there got a hold of it, they started to paint a completely different picture. They didn't just look at the assumptions. They took a really hard look at the actual evidence. The Supreme Court basically pulled out a checklist. See, to convict someone for theft, the prosecution has to prove every single one of these things. And what they discovered was a huge failure right at the very first point, proving the unlawful taking. And this right here, this gets to the core of the whole problem. Being found with something isn't the same as taking it. Yeah, okay, they were found in possession of the phone, but the prosecution's job was to prove they were the ones who actually stole it. And nobody, not even the victim himself, saw that happen. Just think about that for a second. The entire case against these two guys was built on them being in the wrong place at the wrong time, plus that legal shortcut we talked about. And when the Supreme Court looked at all of this, they decided that, well, that's just not enough to get past the most fundamental principle of all. You are innocent until proven guilty. So, with the prosecution's seemingly open and shut case now completely picked apart by the highest court in the land, what was the final decision? And the reason they were acquitted? It all comes down to the single most important pillar of our criminal justice system, the presumption of innocence. The court basically said that the prosecution's case was built on suspicion and a hunch, but not on hard, undeniable proof. This is exactly why this case is so important. It shows that our legal system is designed, first and foremost, to protect the innocent, even if that sometimes means someone who might be guilty goes free. The burden of proof has to be on the prosecution always. This final word from the court itself really leaves us with a powerful question, doesn't it? In a world where we often want justice to be quick and simple, this case is a stark reminder that the line between suspicion and certainty is one our legal system has to guard very, very carefully. So it makes you wonder, in the search for justice, how much proof is ever really enough?